Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Reality Realness with three S's. I'm your host, Chantele Francis, here with my amazing co-host, Michelle. How are you feeling, Michelle? How are you doing today?
How genuine is a smile, do you think?
It's like a-
Yeah, obviously I'm not pleased.
Not
Uh,
pleased, not
that's
pleased at
that's an
all.
understatement. Obviously there was some bad luck with the daily, but also just some. I'm upset. It sucks that we got hit with many blows in a row, and now it's like kind of sucks. But um, there were, I guess, some moments that were redeemable for sure from some people, and also, yeah, there was just a lot. But it wasn't my favorite episode, obviously. But
It was
like
literally my least
subjectively,
favorite episode of the season, and I was
yeah,
like, "Oh, is this the end of the season being good?"
I think it. No, okay, I. It's more so that I don't think it's necessarily means the whole season is going to be a wrap. I just think that we have to change our gears at this point, and kind of more focus on like, okay, what is going to happen with Tori, Danny, Sarah, Theo? Like with like, I have to kind of shift my focus into only focusing on what's going to happen with that, and if something more exciting can happen somehow with that, then that would be still appealing to me. So I'm still open to it having a good season. Is it going to have a happy ending for us? Likely not. But I don't know. If certain people, namely yes, but others, get what's coming to them, then I will still find moments of joy throughout the rest of the season.
Yeah. So of course we're talking about episode 9 of the Challenge Global, and I've at least been really enjoying this season for the fact that it was always like an opposition or people playing hard, and that's kind of what we were finding to be boring in like season 38, is that like it's just some big alliance that like plows through everybody. And like I get it, as a player, that is the optimal strategy for you to get to the end and win, and get to the end and win in future games and future seasons. I get it. Like I don't think that it's bad gameplay for Tori and everybody want to keep their alliances in the game and like keep their relationships solid. Like I get that. But what makes a good game, in my opinion, when there's an opposition, when there's a fight back and forth. And
Yeah.
I think we've used this analogy before. Like, I don't watch football, but people do watch football. And like, a good Super Bowl game is when it's like one person scores a touchdown. It's going back and forth, and it's like always hovering kind of near the middle, and you don't know who's actually going to win
Yeah.
because they're both so good, and they're able to just go back and forth, and it's never a blowout. Like that's what makes an exciting game. And
Yes, and
so
yeah, and Kellyanne truly has made it a very exciting game. We all can have our own opinions, and I I can admit, of course, that within this episode, she makes some bad decisions. For sure. However, it was not going to change the outcome
mm-mm.
at all in any stretch of the mind. When the losing team was that losing team and the winning team was that winning team, there was zero breathing room regardless. Was it smart for her to go around trying to do what she was trying to do? Probably not at
What
that
else could
point.
you do?
What else is she supposed to do? Literally, what else is she supposed to do at that point? um Oh, I wish in another universe, if they're in another plane of like life where all this is the same but everything's different, Danny and Kellyanne are partners for me, and it's like this
They
big
might have
immortal
not have gotten
combination.
along though, because we do hear Danny say a couple times in this episode that like he wanted Kellyanne out because
Yeah,
she's wishy-washy, and like
but he
he's going
wanted her
after
out because
allies.
he sees her as wishy-washy, which for sure, like, she didn't have any allies and she started from the bottom, right? So like, I think that
She's
if they
being
were
scrappy and just doing whatever she can to stay in the
exactly, if
game.
she was in a partnership with him, perhaps they would still be at the bottom to a certain degree. It would depend,
Nah, but they would be in Team
but probably
USA.
not. They would have Team USA, and I believe that like with a strong partner like him, like, yes, I'm sure there would still be moments where he'd need to be like, Kellyanne, like, relax a little bit for sure, but I think it would have been a really cool situation. And I do think that Tristan was a great partner, and you know was good and fine, and like it
But
sucks
he
that what
just didn't
happened, but
have any social capital at all.
zero social capital. And I think she needed someone like Danny with a little bit more social capital, for her to like really do something. And I also just would have loved that partnership. I would have loved to see them grow, get to know each other. Yeah, maybe have an argument or two, and kind of like just be this unexpected thing that people wouldn't think we're going to do well because Kellyanne's so small and he's not. And but then they could have had this perfect thing. Like that would have been really interesting for me, at least. I don't know.
Yeah, I do wish that we could see the sliding doors of having a
Yeah, yeah.
different partners kind
Don't we
of
all
working
though?
together.
Yeah.
We have some friends joining us here in the chat. We have Lauren here. Sophie's saying that this episode was good. Are we watching the same episode? I mean, I guess if you don't like Kellyanne,
And
this
I
is good.
and also like let's be real, like Kiki is an icon still. I really like this is like the most that I've been in the recent years intrigued by Darrell's game. Like I'm happy that they're still there, obviously. Like obviously I'm happy they're there,
Yeah,
but like
no.
it just was the worst case for the people that I like. But like everyone likes different people, so it is what it is.
It is what it
Yeah.
is. Well, we start this episode at the Village Idiot, which is the bar, and we're seeing all like the layouts of the alliances and stuff like that. And like just seeing that, it just actually annoyed me. I'm just was like, I know you need to work with alliances, and I'm always going to be like, get an alliance, get people working together, you get people on your side. Like, I get it, but like, I just was rolling my eyes where like, because Casey's allies are Jordan and Tori, and then
Yeah.
Casey thinks that Yes and Emily are sketchy, and I'm like, I am watching this season Paramount Plus. You don't have to.
You don't have to lay it out for us, but also it's kind
pretty
of
basic.
confusing. Like it is a little bit confusing of
You muted yourself.
sorry. It is actually confusing as to who's working with who.
You think?
Not I just mean because of the partnership breakup.
Oh, fair. Okay, yeah.
Because you still have the USA and whatever. And like the whole thing with Yes and Emily, like I think that there's a lot they're not showing us because I listened to a podcast today with Kellyanne, the Most Likely To podcast, and she was just talking. I think I listened to it, yeah, earlier today before I watched the episode, actually. And she
What?
didn't.
Oh, she didn't spoil it.
It came out like
okay.
Before. They don't talk about the outcome. And yeah, like I don't know. She was just talking about like the trajectory of Yes and how much he like had lied about what he was doing and how just I don't know, just a lot of sketchiness. And that like Yes and Darrell were like pretty close because they did All Stars together and like they had a working relationship to a certain degree. But then every single time, Yes and Emily voted with like Sarah and Theo and Danny and Tori and all that. So they were obviously with them, but it's like he was just being sketchy. I forget what she was saying about it, but it just put a bad taste in my mouth. But like obviously it's easy for someone to think about Yes.
You to be annoyed with something that West.
And also
Yes
Emily's annoying me too now. Like I don't know. But then at the same time, I'm like, do I prefer them to like Jordan and Tori? Right now, I don't know. Like Jordan is also annoying me so much in this episode, and not just because of the decisions he makes, because like whatever, but the way he was speaking about things like bothered me. And I'm not sure if I'm just being ridiculous and just whatever. Could be.
Well, it could be because you're like he's not doing what you want him to do, and he's working with people that you don't want to be continuing to have power.
But he's also being so like
so everything's annoying you, I think.
But I feel like his energy is coming across very like ego forward. But I mean, whatever. It's the game.
Okay, well, no, what was bothering me, and like, no surprise, Tori stands, just like plug your ears for a moment. When Tori is like explaining their relationship and like, oh, we clash a lot in the game, and like, did you hear like the ticking? Like, it's like I felt like it was like a ticking time bomb that like the editors were trying to like allude to, but it's just like, I don't know, I just can't get behind Tori's strategy. And her
she has terrible strategy. What I will say, I understand that like she had to come to him to be like, listen, let's get to the common ground, which for sure, like that is a smart thing to do. You do have to do that. But when they go through all the clips, it's like, girl, like look at all these times. They're making it seem like I'm hearing things about he was so this towards her. Like every clip, it's like she is arguing everything won't and is being very, I don't know, it's just very hard to work with. And you should treat each game as a separate game. And if you have your relationships, cool, fine. You cannot force them on anybody else, even your partner. You have to
Mm-hmm.
work with that partner. And this partner picked you not knowing your current relationship with this person. And so how are they to know?
Well, so you weren't in the beginning though, were you, of this episode happy that Jordan wanted to potentially take out Yes and Emily? That was it
Oh
making
yeah, like I was ecstatic about that idea. Like the way the episode started, I was like, okay, like it might not be so bad, but like I needed them to get, yeah, I needed Kiki and Jarrell to not lose, essentially, is the first thing.
So Tristan, of course, wants to have a chat with Kaz, and like I like the fact that like we were worried that he might still be sick and that maybe he still was going to be taken out of the game, but like the fact that he wants to talk to Kaz strategically because they haven't really been doing that so far this season. I'm like, why? Like
Why?
you've been there for how long?
That confused me. Like as someone who didn't finish Australia, were they actually working together throughout the season or no? They just both happened to win. Because like
Not Australia, UK.
Sorry, UK. Sorry, UK.
It was such a short season. It was only 5 episodes, remember? So
right, I didn't watch it.
So I can't remember if they were friends or friendly, but like the cast, the whole UK cast, I felt were very quite friendly with each other. So
right.
Then they did. I think they each pair like or each person had to switch partners, so they did work with each other at one point in the final, but it was by time. So he had the fastest male time and she had the fastest female time.
Because like she just didn't speak to him or didn't strategize with him because he was working with Kellyanne, who everyone was number one target from the get-go, bottom pick, blah, blah, blah. Oh, it's called Most Likely To. Most Likely To, TWO. And yeah, and sorry, what was I saying? God, I lost
you're talking about the number. Well, the last thing I said was the final was a timed thing.
Oh yeah. So like, Kaz. I feel like she had to kind of not strategize with him, and she was strategizing with Jordan instead, who's her partner, and like all of that alliance. And she went along with the votes. And then this whole episode, she's like, maybe like I should work with him, and like it's my vote too. But you've done everything Jordan has wanted every single time without even a question. That at this point, he's not going to allow you to even have a voice because you haven't like. She's only trying to stand up for him now. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. Like, I was just like, what is going on here? On both sides, I'm annoyed. I'm annoyed with her strategically. I'm annoyed with him strategically. I understand why Kaz wouldn't need to work with him, but also he's still UK. Like, you should still have been having strategy conversations at some point. Shouldn't you be having them with, like, most people? Like, well, I don't know.
Maybe everybody's seeing how dysfunctional Danny and Tori were. Like, made people be, like, kind of scared to have, like, any sort of rift with their partner. And so they just kind of avoid that. They're just like, well, just, play the middle for now, I guess. But like I don't know why they hadn't really been talking strategically at all.
Yeah,
it's very annoying. So Kaz does say though, like, let's be honest with each other. Like, if you have to say my name or I have to say your name, as long as we just give each other the heads up, like just give us that respect. Yeah. And I was like, oh, this means that one of the two of these teams are not going to give each other the heads up immediately.
I am so mad about that. She said that.
Yeah.
She said that.
Mm-hmm.
You're not even going to warn them. And then that's going to be the last time you see. That is so, like, I'm sorry. That is so shady. Sorry.
And then I was super sad because then you see Kellyanne and Kiki getting along and how they have each other's back. And I'm like, this is all that Kellyanne has wanted from the very beginning is just someone to like have her back and like work with somebody. And like, if Janae had played the beginning of this differently, like Kellyanne is a good ally and like they could have been able to do something a little bit different. Like obviously Grant got taken out by injury. And so that was an unfortunate situation to remove her from the game. But like maybe things would have been different if they were working together. Like, it's just,
Mhm.
I wish that the beginning of the season was a little bit different for Kellyanne. I mean, maybe we wouldn't have seen this fire within her and like have us be like supporting her and standing her again if she didn't have her back up against the wall. But
Yeah.
I think it's just unfortunate though that like she had to experience that with her friend, and then like, with this episode didn't really go her way. She had to
Yeah,
fight
she
so
talks a
hard for
little bit
nothing.
about that too on the podcast too.
Does she talk about like if she's still friends with John A or no?
Yeah, she just kind of talks about how like there are levels to friendship, and like outside the game she'll always like be there for her if she needs, but like she clearly can't trust her, obviously, in a game, and like just kind of goes into how, yeah, like how much it hurt her for that to happen. And it was all so unnecessary right from the beginning. It felt like a scene on a show where like the cool girl, like this girl's trying to be like with the popular crowd, and so she's like shunning her friend and pretending that she's not friends with them anymore.
Even though
Like,
like John A is so much cooler than Tori.
I know, and she
I'm sorry,
totally
Janae. I
is.
mean, Kellyanne is so much cooler than Tori.
Well, they both are. Like, yeah. But anyways, that's kind of the vibe that I got from it. That's what it reminded me of, at least.
Yep. So we're at the daily, and TJ shows up in a super buggy, and it's going to be the sickest challenge yet. And it's going to be inspired by Transformers: Rise of the Beasts. Did you ever play Transformers when you were young?
No.
Me neither. Did you ever hear the? I can't remember how it actually goes, the song, but it's like Transformers, robots in disguise,
Yeah.
Autobots band, na, 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 of Decepticon Transformers. I just remember that from my youth, but I don't think I've ever watched the cartoon, and I don't think I ever played with them. But that's all I know about Transformers, and I've never seen any of these movies. Is it Michael Mann that does them? I think so.
I don't know.
But yeah, I've not seen one movie.
I think I saw the first one with Megan Fox, but like a long time ago, and I don't remember what happens.
Yeah. No, I have no idea. So it's called highway hijacking, and basically what they have to do, two trucks going side by side, the one partner has to jump from one truck to the other truck, grab a key, jump to the other truck, put the key into a lockbox, and press a button, which is going to open what do they call it? Like a cargo door? No, explode the cargo door, and then the partner will get a green light and has to drive through the door and take that super buggy, across the finish line. Okay, yeah, it could be considered the sickest challenge, but I didn't like that it was so easy to do, and that it was probably just separating by milliseconds.
Exactly.
Right? Like there was no additional thing to have to do. It like I wish that like maybe they had
kind of a crapshoot of who was going to win.
Exactly. Like, did you steer to the left a little bit when you go out there, or like hesitate like half a second with putting your foot on the gas? Like, or did the trucks did not pick up the speed at the same time? Like, I don't know. There was just so many. There wasn't any room for any variance, and then we didn't even get to see like the time breakdown. And it's like anybody literally could have won because nobody did it poorly.
Exactly.
Which is really annoying.
Very annoying.
Michael Bay. Okay. As close. Thank you. Who's Michael Mann? Oh, I don't know. Michael Bay, though. That's right. So Sarah and Theo, they go first, and they look pretty fast, and then everybody else looked equally as fast after. Emily does tip her super buggy over, and she kind of lets out a big scream, but she was okay in the end. She might have gotten some whiplash. That's when we get a soundbite from Danny saying that he doesn't want Tristan and Kellyanne in the game because they're wishy-washy and they're going after his alliance. I mean, you're right. Like, I understand that being a reason for him to not particularly want them in the game, but I wish they were working together.
They were never working together, but it's like he had too much other stuff going on, clearly. And I think it seemed like he kind of viewed her and Tristan as more of just like a pawn, like a Jodie and Ben-Ha kind of thing, which is unfortunate. But like, I understand why in the position that he was in.
I know.
He didn't really have any breathing room, really, with that. I mean, he's doing as much as he can. I think.
So Lena, I believe that Emily didn't diagnose herself. I think that the medic guy or like the stunts guy said like, "Oh, are you okay? I think you just have a little bit of whiplash." And then I think she said, "Yeah, whiplash." Like I think he said it first, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think she diagnosed herself, to be fair. I thought it was really cute though when Kaz was going and Theo was cheering her on. It seemed like somebody that still has a little bit of a crushy poo on an ex.
Oh,
she was the one that dumped him, and she basically ghosted him and like just stopped talking to him. And he thought that they were in a good place, and she was like, "I'm not into this anymore." So I guess she got the ick, and like he wasn't really having it and was kind of annoyed by the fact that she just kind of like cut him off.
I mean, that plus what she does later in this episode tells me that maybe she's just the kind of person that like wants to avoid
conflict.
Like avoid conflict at all costs, because like she was the reason that Tristan didn't leave the other week because he was sick, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like she convinced him to stay. And then in the same breath, she's not even going to warn him that they're voting him in.
Interesting. She's a Capricorn. Capricorns aren't necessarily adverse to conflict. Some Capricorns in this season is Casey's a Capricorn. Amber's a Capricorn. He's not in the season, but Josh is a Capricorn, I believe. From Big Brother, Janelle is a Capricorn. So I don't know. I was thinking that she might be like a Libra or something that always is like trying to find balance and justice and like not want to cause any fighting or any disruption. So, Capricorn. I wonder what the rest of her chart looks like. So after that, though, when Theo's cheering for Kaz, I'm like, they better show all the damn times, because it was so long and boring.
I was kind of expecting Theo and Sarah to win, to be honest.
Wouldn't that have been nice?
Because I thought the only way that can happen...
Fessie's a Libra.
Definitely a Libra. Because the only thing I could go off of, really, was... Oh, she knows so much. Was how quick they're jumping from one thingy to the next thingy.
I love Libras, Joanne. Like, I want to marry a Libra. Libra, one of my favorite signs. So I'm not trying to come for Libras. Sorry, go ahead, Michelle.
But yeah, just that, like, he went really fast. And I didn't see anybody else do much. But I heard the commentary when Jordan went. And I was like, oh, okay.
Hi, Danny. Danny says these MVPs are afraid to speak up for themselves.
Yeah. That's the issue. And that's why everyone is being like, Danny, he's so hard to work with. It's like, because he's the only one actually speaking up. And then Tristan did a little bit with Kellyanne in the episode, you know. He says, like, can you stop being unhinged? And she's like, no. And I was like, this is why I love you, even though, you know.
Oh, yeah. Like that's what was been really frustrating about the season, is that like nobody's really standing up to like speaking up as the MVPs. Mm-hmm. And then anybody that's not in the Vacation Alliance and adjacent, they don't seem to want to do anything to change the status quo. So it's just very, very frustrating. Very frustrating.
Yeah.
But okay, so Amaya's calling you out, Daddy, saying you joined the alliance though. LOL.
But I mean, now? That was I think that was one of the redeeming moments of the episode to me. One of the only ones was that, like, he was like, yeah, because to Danny, what's Yes and Emily, right? Like, they're important because of Sarah and Emily. But I think this is a compromise that Danny can come to at this point. Because at this point, I don't think he has an opportunity to get out Jordan's team before the final. So I think at this point, it's kind of like, well, I guess I have to accept this and hope that maybe Jordan will lose one of the dailies in the next couple, or something else could happen. Yeah, like you kind of have to make that choice at some point. And I think it was the right one, because he still didn't lose anyone that's super close to him. So, I don't know.
Well,
I
Tori
agreed with it.
does do a donut at the end of her their run, her and Danny, and ends up tipping over. But she had fun. She drives in New York City. We learned, so she knows how to drive a car. Um,
All I could think was I would have to jump on top because I can't drive.
you can't. Oh, have you ever been behind the wheel of a car?
Nah, yeah, like once
Interesting.
in a parking lot.
How was that? You're like, I didn't do it again.
Oh, horrible. I have no
Aw.
desire, but that's fine.
Well, the two fastest time for the dailies was Sarah and Theo, Kaz and Jordan. And I really, 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 really wanted Sarah and Theo to win. Not that it was going to make the outcome any different. Not sure. But like, I just didn't want Kaz and Jordan to win here.
Mm-hmm.
I just was like, I just felt that they weren't going to do what I wanted them to do. And I thought we'd have a chance if it was Sarah and Theo. And I wanted to see somebody new in power. Because they haven't run any power this season yet, right?
No, I wanted to see something different.
No, Michelle lives in Toronto.
I live in
Tori that
Toronto.
lives in NYC.
I wouldn't drive in either city though, because those are both cities with public transportation.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't want them to win. I don't know. There was like that moment after they won, and then like when Kaz is saying to him like, "There's no chance that there would be a discussion between like this or this," and he just like the way he like looks and shakes his head, I was like, "Oh, like you know that you have the power in this partnership."
Yeah, that's really
like he
annoying.
very much had the power there.
Well, what was the worst part of this whole thing though was that Darrell and Kiki are in the bottom, and you couldn't tell. Like Kiki said that, I knew, I could tell, I could feel it, but like I couldn't tell who was in the bottom here at all.
No, I could not.
And I was like, did it really have to be Darrell and Kiki? Like Kellyanne and Tristan's only ally left in the game? I
know. In that moment, I knew. I was like, it's written in this is what's happening now. There's no chance. We're done. But at this point, I thought, for some reason, I thought that Kellyanne and Tristan were probably going to beat Kiki and Jarrell. And looking back on the episode now, I'm like, no, all the signs were there. But like, I didn't see them. I don't know why. I didn't want to believe.
Yeah.
And also because the way the elimination goes, you know, it seems like they are winning for a large chunk of it, and then it changes.
So, of course, Tristan wants 2 USA teams to go in. Like, that's what anybody would want, especially right now, because they're the only team that has they have 3 teams still left in it, right? And then there's 2 Aussies and then 2 UK at this point, I believe. So, yeah, of course, that's like you want to kind of at least have a little bit of a leveling of the playing field here with having like 1 less USA team in the game, hopefully. So we see Kellyanne talking to Yes and Emily, and then Kellyanne with Tristan and Tristan. Like, and I was just like, you can't be saying to the people like about any of their allies or people that they're
like
working with.
You're not gonna go to Sarah. Like, I don't know. The timing of it wasn't gonna work. It was unfortunate. I'm sure there are better things she could have tried. But I don't think it would have made any difference. They were going in. They were getting the votes. She was trying something, but I think mentioning like, oh, we really want to put in Tori, like to push that was not the right move. Which, isn't it so insane that Danny and Tori have had all this friction this whole season, and yet they are never like on anyone's mind to be like a real vote to actually go in, like
because both of them have their sides that it's going to be protecting them, right? So anybody that Danny wants out, like it's.
But even when like Yes and Emily won, and then Kellyanne helped like orchestrate that whole vote to get Bananas in, like it was to get Bananas in. It wasn't to get Danny and Tori in, and so they are have been in such a great position, even though they've been in a bad position. Like, I don't know. It's very
so
it's interesting.
Casey doesn't trust Kellyanne, and I was just like,
that you could have redubbed with when she says that about Amber B,
Mm-hmm.
and it would be the same thing. Something about her, I just don't trust her. It's like I
You're
can't.
not working with her.
You're not working with her. Obviously, like, you voted her in. Like, what do you mean? Obviously, you guys aren't working together. But what? I don't know.
Yeah. So Tristan thinks Kellyanne was being a bit too abrasive, and that's when she just is like, I don't care. Like, I'm the one that has relationships here, so I'm going to try to use them as best as I can. So, like, okay, I get what Tristan's trying to say, but like, can you come up with a better plan then? Can you figure something out? Being like, okay, what if we did this, this, and this? What if we got to talk to these two people and be like, listen, like, we know that you're in this situation. Like, let's all come together. We're just going to be plucked off one by one, and you're not going to be able to beat them in the end. Like, yes, you're friends, but or whatever. But like, he's just telling her to like stop doing something without offering another.
You need to offer a solution, and I wish more of these MVPs were trying to build these kind of things, because like Sarah and Danny, like, they have their situation going on. And they've been playing the game since the beginning in that way. So has Kellyanne, but Tristan has not. And so it's Troy. Like, what is Troy doing? I don't know. Like, what?
Oh, I guess there's 3 Australian teams.
Yeah.
I again forgot about Casey. Just makes a team invisible.
And did they even show Troy? Like, I barely saw him. I saw him more when he was with Amber. Did I? I don't know.
No.
I really like him, but I need more. I need to see more.
A lot more.
A lot more.
So Jordan wants Kellyanne and Tristan out this round, and then Yes and Emily next. And I'm like, why? Like, I mean, maybe he just thinks that he could beat anybody. So like, that's just like his easiest pass to the end. I don't know, but
he like 100%, 100%. He thinks that he can beat anyone. He's fine to go against the best. And in his mind, like, he needs to get them out. I mean, it's possible he also just sees how big of a threat Emily could be. And like, Yes has won on his own. He obviously has really good endurance. He's really good on his feet. Like, he is a great competitor, I say. He is.
But I was really annoyed, though. So he steps in as mediator, and Danny says, like, oh, Jordan ends up being the person that comes to be able to bring Danny and Tori together. But he didn't.
Okay, I'll give him that.
And that pisses me off, though.
I know.
It pisses me off that that's exactly.
He made a whole deal.
Yeah.
Without your fucking. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, you just go off, Queen. Go. I was just so frustrated because it's like, you know, she wants to be a stand-up partner to Tristan, or friend, and like, you know, they had the conversation in the beginning of the episode where it's like, hey, let's just like be honest, if we have to vote each other in, like, this, we'll just give each other a heads up. And then she wasn't really able to give him a heads up because she didn't know that this was a plan that was going on, and they were led to believe later that she knew this was going on and didn't say anything. But she had no idea until they got to that deliberation stage. And it's like, it's just really, it was just unfortunate that he just disrespected his partner so much, and like didn't have no care for what she might want in this game, and like just worked behind her back. I thought it was just distasteful. And like, and I still believe that this is supposed to be the MVP season, and it, in my opinion, it's supposed to be the legends helping the MVPs for their win. And it's just frustrating that like they're just taking control of the MVP season, and it's just turning into, season 38.5.
It's also just kind of like hypocritical for them to be making this deal without your partner being aware of it. Considering how they've reacted to other situations. I don't know. It just felt like if any of Jordan's partners had made a deal without telling him, he would have freaked out. I think he should have let her in a certain way. Maybe he doesn't tell her right away, but maybe, you know.
So Tracy's saying here that she totally understands that why Danny wanted to vote Jordan in earlier in the game. At this point, there doesn't seem to appear to be a way to get them in, as all possible pawns appear to be leaving. Absolutely. You got to get them out early or they get to the end and win. It's just a fact. See, Willie, I agree. This season is turning into season
Yeah.
37, where it's just friend zone and no drama or gameplay. Absolutely. It's like, well, may the best person win. It's your turn this time. I just
That's
won
what it's
last
going to
time.
be. That is what I predict at this point. Now that Kellyanne is no longer in the game, um, I just like Kiki and Darrell will be voted in every single time. And at this point, by every single team. Who is not going to vote them in? Who is not going to vote them in? Tell me. Yes, and Emily will vote them in. Casey and Troy will vote them in. Danny and Tori will vote. They will all vote them in.
Casey and Troy would be the maybe wouldn't.
But they probably will. And so the fact remains that Kiki and Darrell have lost all of their like allies. They're great and they could win another daily like they've already won, but they'd have to win every daily until the final if they actually want to not have to go to elimination. And they've already been in multiple eliminations. So chances are if they get into another one or two,
One of them they're going to go
don't like
home.
those odds at all.
Well, and look at the teams that they're going to be going up against, right?
Exactly.
Like,
Exactly. And it just shows that like and we still haven't had that hall brawl. We still haven't had that physical thing or whatever. And I just know that, like, I don't even have to know.
mm-hmm.
And that's really upsetting for me to like realize. So I think that it's just like they're really in a bad position.
Yeah.
But is that their own fault a little bit sometimes? I don't know.
Well, it's because Darrell took too long to make a strike, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, it's like, finally Kellyanne was able to get him to do something when his name was being brought up as the person to be one of the names. And it was like halfway into the season before he decided to like really, bless you, take the reins and start like actually playing the game, which was too late because he started to lose too many numbers at that point. So I did think it was kind of fun, them all signing the whiteboard. So people want to know, do we think that Sarah is going to honor the deal? Because apparently if they take out Tristan and Kellyanne this week, then the following week it's going to be Emily and Yes. And that is Sarah's number one other than Danny.
I think that if Sarah and Theo win next week, like say they're in the power position, I think that she would.
I mean, what they would have to do they would have to put in Danny and Sarah and Emily and
Danny and Tori?
Yeah, Danny and Tori and Emily and Yes would have to be the two people that they voted in if they wanted Sarah to honor that deal.
Yeah, they would have to force that.
Yeah.
Because I think that if Kiki and Darrell are an option, they will throw Kiki and Darrell in for sure.
Yeah.
It has to be Tori and Danny and Yes and No.
Right. That would be pretty good. Like, if that happened, I'd be pretty interested in it. So at the deliberation, no surprise. Like, I felt like Kellyanne was just so deflated. Like, you see, it's Tristan and Kellyanne, and then when they say Danny and Tori, everybody already knew like what they were planning on doing because they know who Jordan is going to keep in the game between those two teams. But Sarah follows suit. Kellyanne is crying. Emily follows suit. Well, actually, Emily says Tristan and Kellyanne. Oh, yeah, Tori and Danny. Casey says Yes and Emily, Sarah and Theo. Kellyanne says Sarah and Theo, Tori and Danny. And the writing's on the wall. It is going to be Tristan and Kellyanne, Danny and Tori that are going to be going into the elimination, or going to be choosing between by the winning team, which is Tori's ex-fiance.
Yeah.
So they're not going to be going down. But wouldn't that be like nice if he was just like, payback time, Tori, for how you were acting to me last season? Oh, a girl can dream.
Yeah, I would love that. But
sorry, say that again. You would love that,
but I knew there was no way.
I know. So Kaz, of course, is trying to save Tristan and Kellyanne. I'm just like, it ain't happening, girl. Like, like the fact that you didn't know that this was
but it's because they knew it was too little, too late. Yeah, she didn't have a leg to stand on at that point.
Yeah, she had no power in the situation because the plan was already made and they're already going to be following through. I have to say though, the moment when Kellyanne is picking the lavender and made a cupcake for Tristan's birthday, I was like, such a so sweet.
Yeah, that was
But it
really
felt
nice.
like kind of like a goodbye, like a
Yeah.
death, where it's just like, this is my final farewell here. Um, Tori feels bad, and Danny is rolling his eyes at Tori as usual because she didn't like that it was Tristan's birthday and that they were putting him in, and he's just like, you feel bad for everybody. You don't want to put anybody in, which is true.
Yeah.
All right, so I actually really liked this elimination. I really wish
Yeah.
it was with two other teams. But it was called hands off, and basically each partner had one chopstick, and they had to, like a giant chopstick, and they had to move puzzle pieces up and over like this contraption. So like it was like a beam on an angle, and then some stairs, I believe, and then drop their puzzle piece onto like past the line. And so I loved it. It was like you had to work together, you had to have like agility, you had to also then be able to solve a puzzle, and it also was timed. So I thought it had all elements of a good elimination challenge.
Yeah.
It was pretty good. But I was like, as soon as I saw it, I'm like, I think Kiki has this. Kiki's good at puzzles.
Well, yeah, that was my initial thought. But then when she was so bad at bringing the puzzle pieces on at first, I thought, oh, well, Kellyanne hasn't then. Like, you know what I mean? But then as it continued, obviously that shifted.
Yeah. Interesting. And I was also looking at their confessionals that we know they do after they finish their challenges and stuff like that. And I was like, Kellyanne and Tristan looked really sad, even when they're trying to like pump each other up in the beginning of looked like the beginning of the challenge. And they're like, yeah, we're going to go in and we're going to do this. Like, I've been undefeated right in the season going down there, whatever she said. And I was like, it didn't really have the vigor of somebody that won and is doing this confessional. And then when you see Kiki and Darrell, Kiki was just so like animated and like so like not scared about like going, So I was like,
yeah,
I think they win this here. Definitely. So we see Tori and Danny again not getting on the same page, choosing for opposite teams. Danny is rooting for Darrell and Kiki, while Tori is rooting for Kellyanne and Tristan. I thought that was a funny moment. Like, if they're gonna lean into the fact that they're just dysfunctional, I can get behind it. I think that's the way that I'm going to have to just like deal with their partnership. People are saying they want them for rivals. How much do you not want them for rivals? I want them on the season, but I don't want them to work together again.
Danny,
I want him. I want Danny on the team this season. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, we don't need to see them as partners again. I don't think.
Not me. Not me. I'd rather him with Jordan.
Yeah, or like have him as a rival with Bananas. Like I don't know, or someone else.
Yeah, I don't want them together again, personally. So Jordan is cheering for Team UK and Kaz thinks it's fake. Oh, and like also though, I've hated when Kaz had to be the one that said the names that was going to be Tristan and Kellyanne going in. It's like, yeah, they had to make her look like such a jerk.
You know what? I kind of take back what I said before. I think a lot of it, she was so unaware until it was too late. Like, I really feel bad that she had to do that. She had to deal with that.
Yes, he loves tangerines, and he still calls them tanagrams. Like, unless I'm in a Mandela effect, like they're tangrams. There's no extra A in there, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, he's actually really funny and he says that he's really good at tanagrams. So
yeah,
or tangerines, tanagrams. We learned that Kellyanne is only 5'4" and Tristan is 6'4", so they do have a big height discrepancy, which is going to be a disadvantage to them in this challenge where they have to keep things level. And Kellyanne did start to freak out a little bit, and at one point we saw her starting to unravel, and I was like, you can't unravel, Kellyanne, because you will not win once you start flailing.
Exactly.
And then they lost their lead. Darrell and Kiki are able to overtake them, but it does end up becoming a race. They do all have their puzzle pieces over the line at the same time. Darrell and Kiki had a little bit of a head start, but they were way faster with putting the puzzle together, and that means that Kellyanne and Tristan's run has ended probably like
Mwah.
a week or 1 week away from the finals.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So
Ugh.
sad.
Kiki does say though she's never lost an elimination.
Yeah, she's really good at them, but if she's in a hall brawl against Emily or Tori,
The only thing though,
my
Kiki's
money's not.
Kiki's scrappy. I don't know if Emily is going to be that scrappy. Like, remember
Yeah,
Jenny
but
West?
Emily has mass. Like,
I know, but remember Jenny West though, and Tori?
fair.
We thought that
Yeah, but
Jenny
it was
West,
against Tori. Tori has more like
she's thick for sure.
Kiki's just more
Sturdy.
slender.
Mm-hmm.
Kiki is more of that Amber type.
Yeah.
And I think she's scrappier. Like, I mean, I'm not going to counter out. I'm just saying, like, my hopes are. I'm trying not to get my hopes up. That's all. But I would cry if they make it to the final. I'd be so.
I mean,
happy.
the next episode's probably gonna be a hall brawl, right?
It's got to be.
Because then after that, it's gonna be what's it, episode 10? Then we have 11 and 12, right? Yeah. So
How many more episodes? 2 more episodes?
3, I think.
3. Okay, then maybe it'll be the second last. Who knows?
No, I was thinking like a 2-part final.
Why? Maybe they'll just do it all in one.
Okay.
Maybe. I could be wrong.
I was thinking Purge and then Purge within the final.
Right.
I mean, I am happy that Kiki and Darrell are still in the game. It was really like,
yeah,
I didn't want either of them to go. I
neither.
was rooting in this case Kellyanne and Tristan because she just had her back up against the wall for the entire season, and she was the only one really offering some good opposition.
Yeah.
But now Kiki and Darrell are just sitting ducks to be taken out next unless they win. So it's just like, it all sucks.
Yeah. It all sucks.
Well, that's pretty much it for the episode. Who is our MVP this week?
I don't even know.
Who was impressive? Maybe.
Like, I guess we have to say Jordan because he got everyone together to make that new deal, and because he
did get Danny
to acquiesce.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to give it to Kiki, obviously, but I feel like Jordan kind of did more in terms of
and he got what he wanted.
He got what he wanted, and he got these people to come together, regardless of what happens. And it all falls apart. Doesn't matter. I think that he probably did the best this episode.
Got them to sign their names in blood.
Yeah.
Well, or in black Sharpie.
Yeah.
White. All right. So MVP is Jordan. I could stand by that.
Yeah.
Even though I didn't like his decisions, he did definitely.
He made decisions that worked out for him. So, and other people too.
Well, that is it for this episode. Hold on. There's a hall brawl and another elimination where they're swinging into a brick wall. I haven't seen that. Okay.
Ooh.
Thanks, Challenge fan. So yeah, next week's not going to be the hall brawl. It'll be the last one before the final.
Yeah.
Most likely. Anything else about this episode you wanted to talk about?
No, because
we went through it so quickly.
I just don't want to focus on it. I want to focus on the future. And hopefully it's an exciting final. Hopefully it's a good final. Hopefully it's a competitive final. I don't really know who I want to win at this point because I love her. If I also think if Wes hadn't gone out the way he had gone out, things could have played very differently if Wes was still there, because he's always been willing to kind of play the field in that way. And also Zara was also UK. It just could have changed things, especially once Kellyanne won power. That would have been way more interesting to me as a season. That said, yeah, at this point, it's like we half root for Danny and Tori to win, but we half don't. And then I want Kiki and Darrell to do as best as they possibly can. I want them to just win the next 2 dailies by some crazy miracle, and have everyone else have to go against each other and just see what happens. That would be ideal for me because then it will be 2 very exciting eliminations, right? Like all those women, like Sarah and like all of them. I will be excited to see them compete against each other. And Kiki
Agreed.
and Terrell have competed enough. Like, let them just like win to the end, you know? That's
Yeah.
my dream.
Yeah. I mean, that would be lovely if they won the next two dailies in a row and just were just not part of the conversation. I would love to see
Yeah.
these teams squirm.
Yeah.
That'd be delicious. I mean, I think that depending on who obviously came in the bottom, I think that Team USA would get one over, and it would be
Yeah.
uh, Emily, or sorry, it would end up being probably Emily and yes, and then Troy and Casey would probably be the people
Yeah.
that they'd try to get in,
Yeah.
right? It's going to be Team Australia that they're going to try to put in for them
Yeah.
to choose between. So then it would
Yeah.
probably be yes and Emily that would have to go down. That's fun.
We'll see what
Okay.
happens.
Let's see what happens. Do you have anything going on that you want to share with the people?
No, not much.
No.
What about
You're
you?
sad. No, nothing really is going on. I'm really bummed by this episode. Like, I mean, it's still a really great season. Obviously, I'm still going to watch.
Yeah.
I just hope it doesn't get boring for the fact that the Power Alliance is able to just take everybody out.
Yeah, and like it would be a boring final to watch Jordan just win again. But at the same time, it's like if Danny and Tori are in that final with them, which I think they will be, like Danny is very smart. He has shown he can even do a giant Sudoku in the freezing cold on a mountain, and I just worry about him and Tori's communication. I just don't think that she's going to have that drive when you just won a season. I don't see her having that same drive to beat other people when she just did. And she obviously cares about how everyone feels so much. She's so empathetic and she wants everyone to be happy. And if she already won, she doesn't need this win. So I don't know. I would just worry about that for him.
Yeah, I do worry for him that she will not be that great of a partner for him for the fact that she doesn't have that same drive. I hear that for sure. Well, that's it, everybody. Unless there's any dying questions that want to be answered, I guess we can say sayonara for tonight. All right, well then just subscribe, please, to the channel. If you haven't subscribed, why not? Just do it. It helps us out. Like this video and let us know. What do we want to know? Did we get it right with the MVP? Was there somebody else that was more impressive to you this episode?
And who do you think is going to be in the Hall Brawl?
Yeah. Sarah versus Emily. Could that happen? How could we?
I think that would probably be the best case scenario because Sarah and Emily and Theo and Yes are both safe competition where one person isn't going to demolish the other.
Well, Theo is like 6'8", and I don't think Yes is.
Yeah, like he'll beat him, but it won't be a demolishment. Do you know what I'm saying? Like it's not like as scary, I think. That combination to me would be, I'd be like, okay, let's see what happens.
Yeah. I'm only looking at the Sarah and Emily side. I do think that Theo would clobber Yes.
Yeah, but he also like
tiny.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes. Well, wait. Oh, challenge fan says if you look at the season trailer, you can see who's in the Hall Brawl. Well, I've looked, but I haven't looked hard. So I don't actually know. But that would be.
I feel like it kind of has to be Danny and Tori though, just because like that's what everyone is like. Ooh. Anyway, we'll see.
Danny and Tori against like Jordan and Kaz.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't see how that.
I don't think
happen,
that won't happen. That won't happen.
Well, we'll soon find out. We only have 2 more weeks left. And also, though, if you haven't done so already, we were talking about it this last week. We're going to be hanging out with Rob as a podcast in a couple of weeks. So May 10th and 11th, Rob is going to be here. On Wednesday, we're going to be doing a live viewing of Survivor. I think those tickets are sold out, but there are still tickets for a live watch party of the finale of Big Brother Canada. So I know Michelle's going to be joining us definitely on the Wednesday for Survivor. I'm not sure if she's she's available on the Thursday, but if she is, I wouldn't be surprised if she joined us there as well. But you guys should hang out with us. It should be a fun, good time. I had the best time in New York, and I can only imagine having an even better time here in my home city. So please, not subscribe, please buy a ticket and come hang out. There's going to be lots of reality stars going to be there. And see you soon. Bye.